Now see, this is fair warning. This video is very nearly 2 hours long. In it, we discuss adult themes such as Joey Deacon, Rolf Harris is mentioned, the suspicious circumstances behind Tony Hart's death, how TbT started, spiders, skydiving, wildcats, just about it's nearly 2 hours long, and I do apologise, so bear that in mind. Just turn it off now. If you don't want to watch it, turn it off now. I don't want to read loads of comments saying, wow, I can't believe that was nearly 2 hours long. It's up to you. Oh, and also the gratuitous use of the word spastic. So be warned, don't watch it. Thanks. Here it comes. Hi, I'm Nick, and this is the TbT channel. Welcome to this Thursday night video, which is non-shooting related. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's shooting related. Sometimes you'll know if you've seen the channel, sometimes I'll talk about other things that interest me. Interest some of you, not all of you. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it, not a problem. But today, we're going to be talking about Lego, motor racing, Formula One, Le Mans, that kind of thing. I say not shooting related. Here's the thing. Back in the day, my mum decided when I was very little that I wasn't going to be allowed any toy guns because she doesn't like guns. No toy guns for little Nicky. That lasted until I got my first set of stickle bricks and I made a machine gun out of them. So there you go. Now, I do like Lego. I've always liked Lego. Who doesn't like Lego? I've got behind me my 1970s Technic set, the chassis. I've got some Star Wars stuff. I've got my Jaws set that I got for Christmas. Absolute 54 years old, still getting Lego for Christmas. It's got to be good, hasn't it? Absolutely love this model. It was a great one to build, and it's great to look at. Jaws is probably my all-time favorite film. I never get bored of watching. Kind of like Forrest Gump, although Forrest Gump's losing its edge now because it's more like real life. I do have a ride-on lawnmower. But I love Lego. So that's what I got for Christmas. But apart from Lego and apart from shooting, I love motor racing. And I love Formula One. Always have done. And Lego have brought out some new Formula One cars. And I saw these in the supermarket. So I thought, I'm going to get a couple of those. In fact, I got that one because I'm a Ferrari fan. And this one's Karen's because she's, well, we're both McLaren fans. How can you be British and not a McLaren fan? So much history there. But we're a little Nobby driving there at the moment. And Piastri, the two of them, they're doing a fantastic job. You know, fingers crossed they're going to win the World Championships. But you've got to love a Ferrari. I do. The worst tacticians, what's the word for it? You know, it's like, oh, we're going to go on to plan G in the next pit stop. We're going to play plan G. What's plan G? Oh, we're going to get an elephant to change the tires. They're just absolutely bonkers. They've thrown away so many races, but you still got to love Ferrari, and I always have and I always will. So I'm going to make one of these. Now, if you feel compelled to leave a message telling me you don't like Formula One, don't bother yourself. I don't need to hear it. You don't have to like it. I don't need you to like it. It's one of those things. It's kind of like any sport, I suppose. If you understand it and if you care, I think caring's probably the biggest part. If you care who wins, you'll take an interest. It's like me in golf or football. I couldn't give a crap who wins. So it's of absolutely no interest to me whatsoever. So that's absolutely fine. But I like pretty much all forms of motorsport. I'm waffling while I'm looking for a way into this box. Talk amongst yourselves. Any form of motorsport, I found it. Boom. Except I can't watch motorbikes. I absolutely can't. I like motorbikes. I've had motorbikes. Fell off a motorbike. I've raced motorbikes. I just find motorbike racing so dull. But then I find, what's the other one? The Vauxhall Vectras and Sierras and stuff. What's that one? Touring cars. I find that dull as well. It's great racing. I'm not denying it's great racing. You know, lots of overtaking and stuff, but He said, well, it's just a motorbike. You can go down any roundabout in the UK on a Sunday morning and see those go past. It's nothing special. Formula One car, you don't get many of them down Tesco's, do you? Oh, I do love a bag. This is a good thing about Lego. They've started numbering the bags. I'm sure it used to be when I was younger a little bit more haphazard and random than that. But yeah, lots of overtaking in the touring cars in particular. But mate, it's a Vauxhall Vectra. Who cares? It's dull. Please tell me how I'm wrong down below. I've been to see lots of. I used to live when I lived in Darlington. We're very, very close. If you know Darlington, very close to the Croft Circuit. So I've seen lots of touring cars there, British superbikes there. If you're there, if you're actually there at any live sporting event, I think it's completely different kettle of worms. But if you're just watching it on telly, I suppose it's the mind you, I was going to say it's the tactics that make it exciting. And I expect that's what people say about American football. Have you ever tried to watch American football? Jeez, that's dull. Absolute tedium. Right, what have we got here? Instructions. Home base, Maranello, Italy. I already knew that. So I need sachets. Now, I went to see my physio. You'll see I haven't got the full around strap there. It's been 3 weeks. Yesterday, today's the Wednesday. This is coming out tomorrow on Thursday, but this is today, Wednesday. 3 weeks yesterday since I had the surgery. I've got to wear my sling for another 3 weeks minimum, but he said I can use my arm for limited things, so I've not put the big band around here because I expect I'm going to need to use 2 hands for this. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 more weeks of this. Man, I don't know. It's going to be difficult. It's what, beginning of April. Now I hope you like my April Fool's video. Some of you didn't realise it was an April Fool's though, and one guy I think is quite cross. But it's April Fool's. I didn't mean it to upset people. Me trying to upset people just wouldn't happen, would it? It doesn't sound like me. This is going to be quite a long video, I'm warning you now. I have no idea how long this takes to make, especially with me waffling through it. But we'll see, we'll see. Number 1 and 2, plus that, which I'm thinking is my carbon fibre chassis. Or floor, they don't call it a chassis anymore, it's the floor, isn't it? Liam Lawson, if you are into F1, Liam Lawson, what's your thoughts on that? I like Yuki. I really like, I think his personality is, if you don't watch Formula One, Yuki's this little, he's kind of like, he's like a real boy, but smaller. Japanese driver. Seems quite talented. When he first started out, he crashed an awful lot. But so did Max, you know, you got to find the limits. But the thing is, Yuki's Japanese. And all he's ever done is race cars. And he learnt his English by speaking to mechanics. And I don't know if you've ever spoken to him, you might even be a mechanic. He's quite sweary, but that's how he learned English. The swear words were part of the sentence. So he got a bit of criticism for that, but I think, you know, good on him. I quite like him, but I'm not sure taking over the hot seat in the Red Bull is going to be the best thing for him this week. And time will tell. Time will tell, but nobody's done particularly well as a teammate against Max so far. And I think that is mainly due to the fact he's so damned fast. So there's me little driver, look. Now he's white. Okay, I'm just going to say that right now. This is not Lewis Hamilton. So the car itself won't be very quick when it's an, oh, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. Oh, and he's got a spanner. Look at that. Or unless, yeah, that's not the driver, is it then? Because there's a spanner. The drivers don't tend to do their own mechanic work, so that must be a mechanic. It's a bloody big spanner. They do it all with microprocessors now, surely. But there you go. We'll put him there. Anybody there been to the Formula One? You ever been to a live race? I have. It's well, you see more on the telly. That's all I'm going to say on that one. It was an expensive experience. You couldn't see much. The atmosphere is great. The atmosphere really is great. But for for an hour-and-a-half race, the amount it actually cost was quite prohibitive. Which is why I do the Le Mans 24 hours now. The Le Mans 24 hours, the first time I went for that, it was an absolute eye-opener. You know, me and my mate Phil, I think it was 10, 12 years ago, something like that, the first one we went to. And we got the tram from the campsite. We got the tram up into Le Mans itself, the town, for the drivers' parade. And that's where they're all in the back of these open-top cars, standing up, and they're throwing T-shirts out and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, you can see the drivers, and you recognise all these Hulk and things like that, and blah, blah, blah. And it's really exciting. Then we got on the tram to come back. And we were just sharing the tram with these same drivers that we'd been really excited for seeing about 30 yards away in the back of a car. They're just there on the tram with us chatting. Absolutely lovely. The access is fabulous. You can walk down the pit lane. Obviously not while the race is going on. That would be silly. But you can... so I'm trying not to miss any steps while I'm waffling here. You could they have open bits in the pit lane where you can go down, watch the mechanics working. They have autograph sessions. You can go around the track on the Friday. They open up the track to the public, so you can roller blade, roller skate, cycle, walk, whatever you want to do around the track. And that's always a great day because there's a few bars around it. It's an 8-mile long track, if you're not aware. And yeah, that's a good day. The Friday is a good day. I'm hoping, I've been talking with my physio, hoping to be cycling in time for June. He said we'll see. Because I've got a very, very lovely, just over there in fact, very, very lovely 1974 Motorsport shopping bike. You know, proper old French low frame, and it's in, do you remember the Rally Striker, the green of the Rally Striker? It's in that colour, and it's got the original saddlebags on the back, and it's got a 3-geared derailleur thing, so it's proper French. I want to take that, and that's going to be my ride around the track this year, I'm hoping, as long as I can do that. So yeah, Le Mans, once you've done Le Mans, the rest of it, I think, kind of, the access and the cost of doing Le Mans, when you compare it to Formula One, it's like, well, what am I paying to watch an hour and a half of racing for? I've got my tickets here just to give you an idea. Okay, now these are mine and Phil's tickets because I actually drove up there to pick these up on the morning they came available. I drove up there at silly o'clock in the morning to queue up and buy me tickets. I videoed part of that. I'm thinking of doing a Le Mans video this year, which is going to be that part. Me driving up to Le Mans, some of the stuff around Le Mans, maybe even, I don't know, maybe even like kind of live stuff or practices. If people have an interest in it, I'll do it. You know, leave a comment down below. But what have we got here? Let's see. Do we have prices on this? Do we have prices on these? Yes, we do. Right, so there's me camping. That's Phil's camping. We're taking a camper van each, so we've got a camping spot each, because you can't fit 2 campers on one spot. There's that. There's his. And there's my entries. Now, I remember, I think it was about in 2004, I went to Silverstone, and they had a special offer on, and the special offer was you could, one of those, there. You could get in, the weekend's admission from Friday to Sunday was reduced to £99 for general admission. Okay, now, if you want a grandstand seat at Silverstone, you're talking about 500 quid. I think there's some bit cheaper, but if you want a good one, it's 500 quid plus your £100 at the time in 2004, 21 years ago, to get in there. Which was bloody expensive. 100 quid. That was a bloody lot of money. It still is. Let's face it. It still is a bloody lot of money. And we got down there because we didn't have grandstand tickets. So we got down there at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, and it was £120 for 3 nights camping just outside as well. 120 quid for 3 nights. And oh, it was shocking. But anyway, lovely if you love that kind of thing. So that was £220 each. It cost us 21 years ago to go and see the Grand Prix. And we got down there at 5 o'clock in the morning by our little bit where we could see. There were no screens because the screens were really only for people who paid a lot of money to sit in the grandstands. So we got down there at 5 o'clock in the morning and we waited and we waited and we waited. 10 minutes before the race, a load of people came piled straight in front of us and we couldn't see. Gutted, bro. Oh, yes, so that's it. Le Mans. I mean, this is 2025 prices. It was cheaper 10 years ago when we first started going. But entry for the whole week. Now, this, because Le Mans goes on for the whole week, it's from the previous Friday through the following week. And then the Saturday and Sunday is the race after that. So it's actually like 8 days or something daft. But for access to the course for the entire thing, €71. €71. Because it was so cheap, we always splash out. We are posh, me and Phil. Phil and I, even because we're that posh. We've splashed out and we've actually got seats on the start-finish straight. Right, so start-finish straight, right opposite a big screen, €175. It's a lot of money. Not compared to Formula One, but for one of the best seats in the house, €175. And because we're taking our camper vans, there's a camping, and that is this one here, which is €78. So a week's camping is €78. A week's entry to the course is €71, and the week's access to the grandstand is €175. So what's that in total? That is 140, 149, 249, 354, 300. I'm getting my maths all wrong here, aren't I? 175, 245, 253, 254, €324 all in for the week camping with a grandstand. Absolute bargain. I really honestly do thoroughly recommend, if you like motor racing or drinking or camping, go. It is good fun. There's an awful lot of Brits there. The campsites, there's an awful lot of Scandinavians. Now, you can park next to the Scandinavians because you'll find quite often that they have encampments, and you can tell the Scandinavian ones by all the flags outside of it, and there'll be big like things around there, and they'll have gazebos up, and there'll be pulsing lights, smoke machines, and proper loud music. So they tend to have quite a wide area around them with nobody camping at the start of the week. If you want a good week, just go and pitch up next to them. Pitch up next to them, and then you will become Scandinavian, an honorary Scandinavian for the week. And that's quite a thing. Actually, it's Pascal, who might even be watching. Pascal and his friends, a couple of years back, I had a Fiat Panda. Pedro, his name was, because obviously he was Italian and I live in France, so I called him Pedro. I bought him brand new, my first ever new car. And it was a hybrid. Ooh. A hybrid 1 litre petrol Fiat Panda. Should have been all things to all men. He did about 40 to the gallon. Our 15-year-old Citroen, diesel Citroen 7-seater does more than that. And while I was at Le Mans, sat there minding my own business, it started smoking. I thought, what's that? 2 minutes later, it was absolutely burnt out. So I would never have another electric car or a hybrid car. Although people do assure me that petrol cars catch fire just as often. But 54 years old, been driving since I was 17, and I've had maybe 30 cars, most of them under 50 quid. I've only ever had one catch fire. That's all I'm saying on that. Right, I want 2 of these bits. They go there. No, that goes there. It doesn't go there. It goes there. Where's me? I'm going to put my reading glasses on. There we go. Oh, look. God blimey, look at that. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of hybrids, but I am a fan of Le Mans. If you want to come to Le Mans, if you've never been and you fancy it, just get in touch. I can help you sort it out. It's not difficult arranging it all. And if you get a group of you together, you're going to have a whale of a time. One piece. I love making Lego. I'm sorry to make Lego at you in such a way today, but well, you know, it's an awful lot of it to go. Honestly, if you've got anything else to do, please don't hang around here just to tell me off when I've finished it, to say what a waste of an hour that was. I'm sorry. I'm not really. Well, I am. No, if you're watching, it's because you've got very little else going on in your life. Nor have I. Let's face it. It's Wednesday lunchtime. I've left the phone upstairs with Karen. So if it's Wednesday lunchtime and you phone to ask me something, and she says, "Oh, he's busy at the moment," I'm actually playing with me Lego, which is sort of busy. No, it's one of these things. It's not like a Rolf Harris painting. I won't say Rolf Harris. Can you tell what it is yet? Not allowed to mention him anymore, are we? Let's see. So that's that, and that. Then I get one of these here. I am looking forward to getting my arm back in proper use. I'm looking forward to cycling again. I've got a lot of energy and I don't know what to do with it. I've been walking the dog a lot, but I like cycling. I enjoy cycling. I didn't stop drinking. That's a lie. Back in beginning of March, coming up to a point where I knew the surgery was happening, and I knew there was going to be a number of weeks afterwards where I couldn't drink. I thought, well, do you know what? I'm 54 years. I keep mentioning I'm 54, you know. And it is so easy just to go, when you go to the shop, I just get a bottle of wine. I just get some beer. But my missus doesn't drink. She doesn't not drink. She just doesn't drink. She drinks sometimes. She has a glass of wine and falls over and then can't move for 3 days. It's not that she doesn't drink. She just doesn't get on with it. So it would never occur to her to come home with a bottle of wine or a beer. Drop that one. I'll get that when I need it. If I'm looking for that, it's like that one. If I'm looking for that in a minute and I can't remember where it's gone, remind me it's by my left foot. I felt it land. It would never occur to her to buy any. So I thought, well, I'll use that as an opportunity to drink some less. And that's great and that's wonderful, except I've now got a load of energy and nothing to do with it, which is a shame. Oh, I don't know if I told you on another video, but I did get my HW30 out to 0 it the other day. What day are we on? Today's Wednesday, so this would have been Friday last week. Then I went to see the physio. He said, "How's your arm?" I said, "Okay." I said, "I've been shooting this morning." And he said, "What?" Explain. So I told him and he gave me a bollocking. So I won't do that again. He said, "I can mow the lawn now," which is good. Yesterday he said, "I can mow the lawn as long as I don't use this arm. So I've got to bind it tightly so I can only steer with one hand." But of course it's raining now today. So I was looking forward to mowing the lawn. And now I can't. And I really was looking forward to mowing the lawn. When we were looking for this house, if you're like friends with me, on Facebook and stuff, you'll know when we were looking for this house that the house hunt was called Operation Lawnmower, because I have very little ambition in life. I'm happy with most things. I'm happy with my lot. But I was like, oh, I'd love to have a garden. I could have a ride on lawnmower. And now I have. So that was Operation Lawnmower. Ooh. Which I cannot do. Well, tomorrow, it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. But I've got my new fishing poles. And my mate Den's got a carp lake. So it's like, oh, shall I go fishing or shall I do the lawn? It's a tricky one. But then again, it's supposed to be nice on Friday as well. So I don't know. What do you reckon, Den? If you finish that bathroom, in fact, you don't have to leave me a comment below, Den. Ring me or just send me a message. Tell me what you're doing. Although you'll be seeing this on the Thursday, so I've probably already been round if I was doing that. If not, can I come round tomorrow fishing? Yeah, you do YouTube. Yeah, I use it as a way of contacting my mates to see if I can go fishing. Den's what's the word? I don't think he's actually a Brummie, because Brummie is from Birmingham specifically, isn't it? But he's from somewhere around there, so he talks a bit like that. I don't understand what he's saying some of the times. I'm sure it's the same with him though. He won't understand what I'm saying some of the times. But what we got here? What have we got here? Now, see, I've got to get one of these. Not that one. It wants to be like that, not like that. Like that. That one. I want to put a white bit on that one there. Oh, it looks like this is the steering wheel. Wow, it's a multi-function steering wheel. Look at that. That out onto there. And then that goes in there. Oh, he's got a steering wheel, look. This is so thick. This does go on all the way. I'm up to step 20. I can see there's 90 there. So just warning you, you know. Right, we'll crack on with this. We'll speed it up a little bit. Fast forward it. I would. That one there to that bit. And that one there. Also this month, in other news, we will have been going for, what year is it? 2025, 11 years or so, 11-year anniversary for TbT. This month, I think it's about the 14th of April, which is quite astounding. I have had people ask me how or why the company started, so I suppose I could tell you that, if anybody's still there and if you're interested. Throughout my working life, I've mostly been a sales manager in the building industry, most latterly for Jewson, and I had the Truro and Falmouth branches, well, Penryn branches, and that was great. I loved that job. But then the financial crisis hit in, what was it, 2000 and whatever it was, you know, everything went kaput. So I got made redundant. I did get a job after that with, oh, I want to put a sticker on there. That's going to be tricky. Did get a job after that with Magnet, you know, Magnet Kitchens. That was down in Camborne in Cornwall. And number 17, I'm ogling for number 17. I found it. So, Magnet down in Cornwall. Oh, and my only job was to find new customers. And I did that for a while. It wasn't very interesting because it was a bit too easy. I've always been a bit of a gob. I don't know if you can tell. But I'm always one of those quite happy to walk onto a building site at tea time, go into the tea room and sell stuff. So it wasn't that difficult. And we was hanging around the office on a Friday afternoon talking about what we would do if we won the lottery. You know, it's quite a common conversation in offices across the country, I should think. What would you do if you won the lottery? And they're all talking about this, that or the other. Now, bearing in mind I lived in Cornwall, I said, I would like to buy myself a little fishing boat down at Newlyn and be a fisherman. And I'd sell my fish, and whatever didn't sell, I'd eat for me dinner. And the manager of the branch looked at me and said, well, do you need to win the lottery to do that? Within 3 months, I'd given up that job, bought myself a fishing boat down at Newlyn, and I was a Cornish fisherman. That didn't go well. There is a way of describing my fishing style, my career. I was excuse the language, I was a fucking liability. I caught myself more than I caught fish because I was trying long lining, which means basically putting out several hundred meters of line over the side, weighted at each end with a buoy, and you've got baited hooks every metre and a half or whatever. Yeah. Caught myself more than I caught fish. I was fishing off of St Michael's Mount down in the bay one day. Now, I only had a 16-foot open punt. It was about 1.5 tons. 16-foot open punt. Nice little stable boat, but it wasn't particularly big. And one day I brought my lines in, and I brought in about, I think it was around about 70 or 80 angry conger eels. That was entertaining. Yeah, that it didn't last long. That bit goes there. I did that for a while. It was kind of, my wife always describes it as like standing in the shower tearing up £50 notes, and it's not a bad description actually. It was pretty much horrific. And then we're at the country fair in Camborne, which is on the top of the cliffs, and we're looking around all the various things, and there was this big kind of marquee, and in the marquee was the Cornwall, well, it was the Paul Redruth and Camborne Regeneration Project. It's an ex-mining, tin mining area, so obviously since that all went tits up, it is a poor area now, one of the poorest in the country. And I got chatting with them, and they're looking for ways to redevelop the which way round do you go? You want that one. Redevelop the area, and got chatting. So what do you do? And I said, oh, I've got a fishing boat down at Newlyn. She said, now this was Gail. Gail's a good friend. I like Gail. She said to me, what do you do with your fish? I didn't really want to say, well, I try and not get bitten by them, the ones I do catch, and there was precious few of them. So I just said, oh, well, just generalised, I didn't lie, but what I said was, the fish are all sold at the market, which they are. The fish are all sold at the market. She said, oh, we're starting, or we want to start up a farmer's market, and we're looking for people to sell local produce. I said, oh, well, I could do that. I can sell stuff. So, okay then. So, my mate Rupert had a fish wholesaling business, and he used to go down to the Newlyn fish market every morning and buy a load of fish to sell to basically to restaurants in London. He'd go down there at 4 o'clock in the morning, buy a load of fish, be back to his place for 7 near where I lived, and on the phone to them and sell a load of fish to the people from London. And I thought, get in, that saves me getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I had a word with Rupert and said, look, can I buy fish off you? He said yes. So I got myself a little refrigerated van, just went round knocking on doors and made myself up a fish round. I did that for a few years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, I have to say. People who were selling fish, I knew nothing about fish, but I munged fish. I learned how to mung them, and I munged them everywhere I could. Munged them here, munged them there. I munged those fishes everywhere. And it was great until the price of fish went up to a point where most of my customers were pensioners, and it got to a point where it was, they just couldn't afford it anymore. Or I couldn't afford to keep selling it at the price I needed to sell it to them at, I should say. And that coincided with our daughter. God, I'm oversharing now, aren't I? So I'm supposed to be building bloody Lego. That bit goes there. Well, you've probably all stopped watching by now anyway. Coincided with our daughter being 13. Now, she is profoundly disabled. That's the word they use for her, profoundly disabled. And it was getting to a point where at 13 years old, Karen just couldn't cope anymore on her own at home. Understandably so. So it's a case of, right, okay, well, you're going to have to give up work to help me look after her. So, God, okay. So I need that bit now. Look at that, I remembered. See, people say I've got a bad memory. I haven't. Oh, there's only one though. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. 2 of those. 1 of those. 1 of those. And 2 of those. So these bits here. So it got to a point where it was suggested that I should give up work to help look after Kerry Ann, because she was just too big and too heavy for Karen to lift. Yeah. So just prior to that, and I mean literally 6 months prior to that, one of my fish customers, Dave, he had a lathe, a Myford lathe in his garage, and he also had a fabulous live steam garden railway that went all around his garden. And he'd let, well, I say he'd let me play with it. I'd deliberately finish at his house. So he got a load of whatever was left, he got really cheap. And we'd sit and play with his train set for a bit, or he'd let me use his lathe. And I was making parts for my air rifles because basically I couldn't afford to buy a kit with a spring that I didn't need, if you know what I mean. So I was making these kits for myself. Now that goes on. Well, that ain't right, is it? No, that way up. God, clever, isn't it? Like that, comme ça. So I was using his Myford lathe to turn up pieces to go inside of my springs. And much to my surprise and delight, it didn't half quieten your rifle down. So I was on, at the time, the AGF forum. This is back in 2014. I was on the AGF forum, Air Gun Forum, AGF. And I was also on the BBS. Now, I put the same message on both forums, said, because I've been talking about these bits I've been making, and people said, oh, can you make me a set? Well, I can't really, you know. I'm making them on essentially on a customer's lathe in my spare time. I can't make other people bits for them. So people say, oh, can you make me one? No, I really, honestly, I can't. But then I had to give up work, and I've missed out a step there. When I had to give up work, Karen, my lovely wife, bought me a lathe. It was Easy Mat. Is it an Easy Mat? It was an East German lathe, and it cost £395. It was second hand, and it cost £395. And let me tell you, that was £395 we couldn't afford. And she said she'd bought it for me because she knew I'd go absolutely batshit crazy in the house all day. So she bought it for me so that when everything got too much looking after Kerry Ann, I could go out and play with my air rifles in the shed. Well, anyway, I went on the BBS and the Airgun Forum that evening and said, right, I know you've all been asking. I've actually got a little lathe now. If anybody wants a set, just let me know. So the response was a threat of a lifetime ban straight away on the BBS. And I sold 73 kits in the first month on the AGF. So, yeah, I mean, after the threat of the ban on the BBS, I went to Andy, who owns the AGF at the time, and said, look, don't want to get in trouble. I put this thing in my signature, you know, at the bottom of your things when you post it. He said, oh, no, crack on, that's fine, absolutely brilliant. Can you give discounts to members? Which I always have done. So, yeah, no problem. And that's it. That is really how TbT started. It was started through necessity to stop me going doolally. I'm not sure if it's worked. Comment down if you're still watching this. If you're still watching this, bravo, sir. I mean, I say sir. I know statistically 1.4% of you are girls and hey chicks. You're not. I know. That 1.4% is an absolute lie. What it actually is blokes watching this on their wife's YouTube account. Hilarious. So that's how TbT started 11 years ago this month. That goes that way round, and that goes like that. So where does that go? Tell me where. Does that go? Was that like that? Oh, that's clever, isn't it? Oh, quel fromage. Okay, that's that. That's that. Right, good. I'm just wondering, I've been going on so long, I'm worried that this is actually going to run out of memory on my camera before I run out of thing on my never mind, it'll be fine. 2 of those. Let's do some speed building. I really can't do anything fast at the moment. They're clear. That's why I can't see them. 2 clear bits like that. 2 little nubbins like that. And 2 what look to be stub axles. And they are white. There we go. I think I could be going for a world record on the longest video I've ever done here. And I do apologise for that. That onto there like that. That onto there like that. Through there. Lego shouldn't be rushed. That's the thing. It shouldn't be, because it's fun stuff to build. That's kind of the point of it. You don't want to rush it. I did do. And if you've seen this, you get a bonus point. I did do this when I built that model there. It was when I was looking at the option of putting a separate channel for toys. So rather than, how does this fit? Rather, how's that work? Yeah, that goes there. Oh, I'm such a wally. I've put them on the wrong way round, didn't I? Where have I? Yes, I have. I was going to have a separate channel. So I was going to have all the toy and hobby stuff, Lego, radio control things on a different channel, but it was just too difficult in the end. But when I thought, right, okay, I needed to get it up to a certain amount of watched hours before I could do it. So I went for a world record attempt on making that Lego thing behind me there. It took me just under 4 hours. And I did it all on camera. I am sorry. If you ever saw that, I am sorry. It's still there because my granddaughter Olivia still watches it. And I did another one just for her of me mowing the lawn. Because when she's feeling stressed out after a hard day, she's only 5. When she's feeling stressed out after a hard day at school, she comes home and watches Granddad mow the lawn or play with his Lego, which is nice. 38, 2 of them. Going over there to see him now. Here's another thing. See, if you're watching this, you are going to learn stuff that other people aren't, and that could put you at an advantage. We're going to the UK late in May to visit the grandkids, see some suppliers, go to the UK office up in the northeast, and we will be staying in Whitby. It's this other one. I hate it when they hide like this. Got it. Staying in Whitby. So coming up towards that time, I will undoubtedly be letting you know if I'm selling some stuff, which I may well be doing. So if there is stuff you have seen on any of the videos, let me know. If it's UK legal, there's a good chance it will be for sale, because I end up with a lot of stuff which I then have to sell, and then I slowly replace to do other videos and stuff like that, and then at a certain point I have to sell that as well. So, you know, if there's anything that you've seen that you'd like, let me know. 2 of those and 2 of the curly bits. See, and nobody else will know about that because I won't have got this far. I'm surprised if anybody's got this far. There's one. I don't even know if I should put this out, you know. It's just just a little bit of daft, isn't it? A little bit of daft. Having a natter, playing with me Legos. I mean, yeah, you're going to learn some things, but not an awful lot. Nothing useful, let's face it. Nothing useful is going to be learned from this ever. Unless you wanted to go to Le Mans, you know. And I hope you do. I hope there's somebody who goes, oh, I like racing cars. I like meeting people I've never met before and then drinking beer. Because if you do, you will love it. There's a lot of people there, I'm not going to lie. I think it's something like 300,000 people at the weekend. So it could get a little bit crowded. But frankly, the weekend part, the actual racing part, wow, that's just a by the by, isn't it? It's the week leading up to it that's the thing. That's where the real happening is. It's the getting to meet all the people and the car shows and the meeting the drivers and walking around the circuit and buying merch. Buying merch. I should do merch, shouldn't I? TbT t-shirt, bum slide inside or something like that. No, I would probably get sued, so I won't be doing that. Right, one of those, four of those. Car around that way. These 4 little groovers facing outwards. Comes up. And that bit in front of that. And that bit in front of that. Get in. 2 of those. 1 of those. Is it 1 of those? And where's the other side of it? That are you hating? Honestly, this is the hardest part of Lego, is when you know there's one particular part you need and you can't bloody find it because it's usually hiding upside down underneath something else. There it is. There it is. So 1 of them, 1 of them, 1 of them. Got that. Oh no, 2 of them. 1 of them, 1 of them. So he goes underneath there. He goes underneath that, and I need a 6 and a 10 sticker. Well, I'm glad we're putting on the stickers as we go. Otherwise, that would have been a tedious sticker fest at the end. Whereas this is not tedious at all. What are you having for dinner tonight? Anything good? Or what did you have for dinner tonight? Maybe, I don't know. Depends what time you're watching this, doesn't it? I think we're having curry. I think we're having turkey curry because there was turkey on special offer at the supermarché yesterday. Or should I say today? And is this coming out? Yeah, this is coming out tomorrow. I've already got tonight's dinner sorted. So it will be for tomorrow. That goes to there. Lovely rounded bits. Now, rounded bits are great and it is going to look nice when it's done. But when we was kids, like with these ones here, you didn't get rounded bits. You just got square bits. You had to round them off in your mind. Oh, Santander. Santander. So that goes, ouch. Elbow to me side. That side. That side. Good. 1 shiny topped groover. 2 black doofers. And 2 of the little tiley things. Gotcha. So get me doofer and me 4-piecer. That and that. I don't know about you, but you have to be very particular if you are doing Lego. Sometimes you can get something wrong. You can put it just 1 hole up or 1 hole down in the wrong place, and it's not until much later that you realise a piece doesn't fit. Then you have to go back and work out where you went wrong. I do that a lot. Wow! Look at that. It's even got a bang thing around it there to show you how exciting that part is. So that's that side and that side into there, onto there. That's a side skirt in place. Now I need an angle, not that angle. I need the opposite. Opposite angle there, and 1 of these. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And that goes up that way with that towards that way. So that goes like that. Yellow bit to the back. Like that. Okay, got it. Got it. Now, I need 1, 2 red one. And it says there, I've got a green tick for that one, not a laminated one. I want the solid red one. So there'll be a laminated one as well, is there? I cannot see it. I cannot see it. But anyway, this must be the right one because it is what it says there. And one grey piece like that. That there goes on to facing this direction. One to the back. That's another frustrating thing about making Lego, is that sometimes you have to put a little piece in a little piece where something maybe not very tight there, and you push one bit on and another bit pops off. Now, having had children, I am aware of the anger, frustration and recriminations that can create. There's one, look, it's not laminated, it's got a little white line down it. There we are, I've got him now, and a little flat tile to go on the top of him. Yep, on the top there. And that goes that way up on both those bits. There. Yeah. Good. 47. We're cracking on. We are. We're breaking eggs with sticks here. This is good. I want one of them. I want one of them. I've never even seen one of them before. One of them, one of them, one of them, and one of them. So, number 11 sticker. Number 11 sticker is going to go onto... Oh, crikey. If I build it first, that will help me orientate it as to where it is supposed to be. There, 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 and that. Good. So my number 11. I'm glad I brought my reading glasses down with me, because that could have been catastrophic if I hadn't. There and that, and I'm sorry, Scott. If that sounded at all like it was supposed to be a Scottish accent, I am sorry. It wasn't. It was just a random noise. There we go. Oh, ooh, side pod heaven. That was good. That felt good. I like it when it clicks into place like that. You know you've got it right. Now what am I looking for? Is it this bit? Could it be? Could it be? It could. So, it's not one with a stripe on the side, is it? No. Where is my one with the stripe on the side? Identify yourself. There you are. Keep you there so I know where you are. So I get this part first and put that part on the top of there. Then that goes onto there, and that one goes in the gap underneath. That all makes sense. And then I get a number 27 sticker. 30, 27. Hut, hut, hut. So we've got a little leaping panther on it, which is a type of shoe, I believe. Not being much of one for brands. I don't know what shoe, but it'll be a shoe of some sort. Or a tennis racket. Is it a tennis racket? I don't know. Could be. Could be. And that goes... Where does that go? That goes there. Does it cover that bit or abut? It abuts that bit. Look at that. Ooh. I know, right? I am much more excited about this than you are. It's okay. I say you are. There's nobody there now. I'm talking to myself. I am used to it. I've been married for a long time. A long time. Oh, you're that one. Right, so that one and that one and that one. I've got you. So I get 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Number 19 on there. I should put that back in a minute. I can't. I need it. I need it. Make sure I keep my elbow close to my body. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's had 3 weeks healing time. I'm not extending it that way or forwards. That's all backwards. That's the main thing. As long as I keep my elbow close to my body, I will be okay. Gotcha. That there, like that, and a number 14 sticker. Ray-Ban. Ray-Ban, I wonder who he is. If you are still watching this, don't tell me I know my glasses are Ray-Bans. Don't make them any easier to see through. Not these ones, my other ones, not my reading. These are oh, it's dirty, that's what these are. These are my 195 ones from the supermarket. You know, the one where you've got a big rack of reading glasses and a little card with letters on it. And you try them all on until you can read it. Yeah, that's what these are. The only problem being is I'm in France. So all the letters are in French. I can't read French. It took me ages to find a pair of reading glasses. One of them, two of them. I'm doing the other side now, aren't I? Oh, this is good. One of them, two of them, and two of these. So I'm remembering this across the bottom like that. Sorry, making noises now. Here's a thing, different. Bear with. Different times, I was going to say. Now, our daughter is profoundly disabled, as I've said. Or, as they call them here in France, handicapped, which I actually prefer. But you can't say handicapped in the UK because people get very angry. It's called political correctness. I'm not a fan of it. As shall now be witnessed. Hands up. In fact, leave a comment. I don't know how far into this video we are. But I'm just going to go around. There'll be a break here. I'm going to go around and check it's still recording. It's still recording. Leave a comment below if you remember who Joey Deacon was. Oh no. Oh, that was a travesty, wasn't it? Some things about the 70s were just awesome. Or was it the early 80s? I don't know. I can't remember what year it was. But Blue Peter and Joey Deacon. That's the shining beacon of my younger childhood. If you are younger than me, which you're not, you may be considerably older than me, in which case you don't know who Joey Deacon is either. Or you might be American. Sorry about that. The country was in a perfectly good condition when we gave it to you. Please don't blame us for this. No backsies. The Joey Deacon. Now, there's a programme in the UK. What the hell? That's wrong, isn't it? What I've done wrong there? That's the wrong thing. Programme in the UK called Blue Peter. Biddy Baxter was the lady who was in charge of it for many years, and it was supposed to be wholesome programming for young people. And one of her attempts at being wholesome was she told this, or the program told this moving tale of a young boy called Joey Deacon who was born a spastic. Now, that was how it was described. He was born a spastic. There's something about the word spastic that to a young person of young school age, it's just a great word. It feels spastic. It feels good in the mouth as you say it. Spastic. You can really get some emphasis on it. You spastic. It became a term, unfortunately, for anybody who was a bit of a spastic. You know, if you were crap at sports at school and you missed the goal, you're a spastic. If you're playing rounders, which is, if you're American, it's like baseball. We have it over here. It's called rounders. Young children and girls play it. If you missed the ball or you fell over, you're a spastic. Shocking, absolutely shocking. But anyway, so this tale of this, and if you do want to complain about this, please feel free to fuck off, because it's true. He was, and he was born unable to talk, and the only person who could understand him was his friend. Bonus points now for anybody who can describe in the comments below your favoured method for doing a Joey Deacon impression. The one I taught my daughter Becky was to sit in her sister's wheelchair. This is when we were different times. In her sister's wheelchair, basically try and chew your own shoulder and go mwah a lot. Oh, the fun we had. But we got to the front of many queues. Right, so what we're doing here with this one, that goes like that. That looks wrong. That looks wronger than a wrong thing. I've done something horribly wrong there, haven't I? That way round to there, and it's flipped over that way, then the single piece. So yes, Joey Deacon. It was supposed to be a way of informing the youth about diversity. Even in the 70s, it still happened. It's not a modern phenomenon. It's always been there. Just like gay people. Always been there. Forever. Nothing new in the world. So it was supposed to teach children about how people are different and how we need to accommodate them and how we need to feel. I don't know if sympathy was what the angle was going for there. But all that actually happened was teaching an entire generation overnight to call each other spastics and go like that. His shoe fell into the Thames. There's a random memory for you. His shoe fell into the Thames and he tried to tell his mum, but she couldn't understand what meant. So the shoe was lost forever. I think that was at Southend-on-Sea. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Where did Joey Deacon lose his shoe? Into the sea/Thames. I'm pretty sure it was the Thames. I'm getting there. I am. That bit goes on there, and I've got one of these parts left. There it is. Look, there it is. I found it. He goes on there. So he was kind of like a local hero to us, because my first, in fact, it would have been some point before 1982, because I was still at primary school, and I left primary school in July of 1982 when we still lived in Essex in Burnham-on-Crouch, and we were calling each other spastics at primary school. So definitely, there we go, see, spastic chronology. Definitely at some point of the turn of the decade. That goes on there, and that goes on there. Wowzers. That's another side pod. Now this is a overbite side pod, I think. Ted Kravitz describes this year's one as, where it's got an overbite on the top of it. I'm not sure how accurate this is to this year's car, actually, because I've only just got this model Lego set today, as you know. Let's pop that onto there, and then, ooh, number 19. 19. He goes there, he goes there, he goes there, like that. Other random thoughts and memories from primary school, or school in general. I've talked a lot about my shooting ones. I do talk a lot about my shooting ones because my shooting memories are a big part of my childhood. I talked about the gun shop in Maidstone, which was after we'd moved to Kent, which I believe was called Sanders or Saunders. Thank you to everybody who commented and told me that. But yeah, in Burnham, while I was at primary school, there was a kid who had a gat gun, and he lived on the council estate, and he threatened us all with it. And we were very, very terrified because it was a gun. He dropped a tin of pellets on the, what we called the sand hill. Where we lived in Burnham, there was a bit of wasteland, marshland, if you will. And we used to call it the pits. And if you know Burnham on Crouch, it was opposite Devonshire Road School. There's a housing estate on it now. But it used to be a marshland. Ooh, wheels. It's exciting, isn't it? It used to be a marshland, and we used to go down there to the swamps with a stick with a bit of string tied to the end of it and a worm tied onto the end of that stick, a bit of string. And we would dangle our worms in the water and we would catch newts. And then we would end up with a bucket of newts. I mean, literally, we'd have a bucket with half a dozen or a dozen newts in it. It was awesome. And then we'd take them home. And then we would care for them and look after them and take them for walks and give them names. And then our mums would make them take us back. They'd make us take them back. But this going down from our estate, because I lived in Pippin's Road, which was an estate. Number 12. The way to get into the pits from our estate was a break in the fence on one of the little back alley bits. And then scramble down what we called the sand hill, which wasn't sand, it was just clay dirt. But because so many kids had scrambled down it, it was quite bare and bald. And he dropped his tin of pellets there, and he couldn't find all of them. And for weeks afterwards, well, it seemed like weeks, probably hours afterwards, we were still finding them if we grubbed around enough. That was very exciting. I remember I took some home. They were like the very early airgun slugs, you know, they weren't really wasted. They were kind of just a straight-edged, hollow thing. And I took some home and I put them on my, I don't know, probably my bedside table next to my digital radio alarm clock. They were a thing. Do you remember digital radio alarm clocks? I didn't have a tease made. I was too young. I did digital radio alarm clock. But I am so old that it wasn't even an LED one. It had bits of plastic sheets with numbers written on them. So half the number would be on the top sheet, half the number would be on the bottom sheet. And every minute it'd go clack. Another bit of plastic would come down and tell a different time. So every minute it'd be a clack. Oh, I'm going to sleep again now. Clack. Technology. Wow. So anyway, yeah, I put them on my bedside thing. What was I talking about? Pellets. My dad saw me and went, Potty, where did you get these bullets from? Your bullets? And I found them. Yeah. Number 7. That's all goes back to being, you know, not allowed, right back to the beginning of this video, in fact, not allowed toy guns as a kid. How'd that work out for you, Mum? Yeah. Apparently, in the early 70s, the thing was, it was agreed that if you stopped boys from playing with toy guns, then they wouldn't want real guns when they grew up. It's true. That's what they thought. I think they might have been mistaken. I was also oversharing again now. I was in the ballet. That's such an exaggeration. Before I started school, you know, it's always in villages, there's always like a preschool club for parents to basically dump their kids off or talk to other mums. Because back in the 70s, you know, mums didn't have to work because you didn't need 2 full-time wages to afford a house. So mums just kind of hung around watching daytime TV. What was it? Pebble Mill at 1. Crown Court. Oh, Crown Court. things like that. So we had a ballet club or whatever it was for preschools, and so I got taken along and made to do ballet when I was about 4 years old. I didn't want to do ballet. Of course I didn't want to do ballet. And there was another kid there called Jason Brown. Now, this would have been the first time I met him, but we were in the same class together at primary school as well, because he didn't live on our estate. So if you didn't live on the same estate when you're 4 years old, you just don't know them unless you meet them at ballet. I mean, you can all relate to that, right? So Jason Brown, his dad was the councillor for the village. I remember that now as well. Wow, he was important. His dad was councillor. So we were made to do ballet. Oh, crikey. Here's some oversharing. Do you know what? If you have watched this, you're going to get your money's worth. First one, right? First ballet lesson. I'm probably not allowed to say this. First ballet lesson, we're all 4 years old and we're stood there and we're given a magic wand. So it's a stick with a glittery star on the end. Tinsel. In fact, it was tinsel, star on the end. First things, me and Jason Brown decided, well, these were machine guns. So he started running around the place going like that at each other with them. All the mums are watching through the window, through that window with the wire running through it, the round ones at the end. Yeah, it's me and Jason Brown doing that. And so that didn't go down well. Calm down, boys. Calm down, boys. Right. Now, children, today we're going to be fairies. Now, one thing I should tell you about my dad, bless him, he's dead. He was a bit of a wind-up merchant. I don't know where I get it from, but he was a bit of a wind-up merchant. So, today we're all going to be fairies. Now, there was only one thing that 4-year-old me knew about fairies. So today, children, we're going to be fairies. So I've got my wand. Thus. Other hand, I'm going to have to do it the other hand. One hand on me hip, but it was that one. Wand in the other hand. And much to my mum's embarrassment to this day, she's still devastated every time it's brought up. I started to, no other word for it, I started to mince around the village hall singing, I don't go out with Jane anymore, I don't go out with Mary, I don't go out with girls anymore, whoops, I'm a fairy. Because that's what my dad had taught me. I didn't go I didn't go to ballet lessons many times after that. My mum was too embarrassed. Well, I suppose that's a good thing, isn't it? On the whole. Another thing he taught me, because my dad grew up in Hackney. Grew up in Hackney. And he would have been a kid in the 50s. And he used to make money on a Saturday. They lived in flats, mansions they were called, lived in these flats, and it was a heavily Jewish area. So they used to make money, him and his mates, on a Saturday by going round early in the evening and turning all the lights on, and then going later in the evening and turning all the lights off. If you know why, you know why. It doesn't really matter, but that's how they used to make. He went to a kosher school and stuff like that. So that was the way he was brought up. And he told me, because I went to a C of E, St Mary's C of E primary school, told me that whenever anybody says Amen, I have to say Oy vey. I believed him. So I did. I didn't get told off for that. I got taken aside and my parents got called up to the school. I think my dad got in trouble for that one. Which is probably, when you think about it, it's quite right. Quite right. How are you enjoying building this? I'm loving it. I'm sorry. I am, but if you're watching this, this is your own, nobody to blame but yourself at this point. That sticker, which way round does that sticker go? It goes the other way out, doesn't it? Would do. Bloody would do. So we've covered how TBT started. Oh, right, there we go. There we go. That's that. Other jobs, what I did. My first, I think, wasn't really a job because I didn't really get paid for it. But we used to, where I grew up, we had estates, shooting estates around, pheasants. And I was walking back from the town one day, and it was a Saturday, and there was a load of people out there shooting pheasants. So I stood and watched for a bit because that's the kind of stuff I was interested in. And one of the guns came over to me and said, "Oh, do you like shooting?" I said, "Yeah." I was like 13. I said, "Yeah, I like guns, I like shooting." He said, "Would you like to earn some money?" "Depends, mister. What are you going to make me do, you know?" Beating. So come along next Saturday and we'll give you a stick and we'll give you £8. £8? Crikey, I was there like a shot. And so yeah, it went up pretty quickly to £10. And then it was, "You got any friends at school would like to come as well?" And it ended up quite a little enterprise. It was great fun. Absolutely loved it. That was my winter Saturdays for quite a while. I do kind of miss that. I've been beaten since, but it doesn't have the same excitement that it did then. The whole thing of it, you know, it was just great. That goes on there. Oh, blimey, look at this now. That's some small stickers, isn't it? What are you, number 4? So yeah, a few of us from school, we'd rock up there on a Saturday morning and we'd get, well, it was £8 only for a couple of weeks. Then it went up to 10, which back then, I mean, £10, that was bloody good. And then over at, now that was in Sissinghurst, that was at Buckhurst Farm. Number 2. And we'd get £10. But there was a fella over at Frettendon, Ned Farris, and he had a much bigger shoot because the one at Sissinghurst, Buckhurst Farm, that was really a private shoot. That was a syndicate shoot where the syndicate chipped in and they'd pay Pete and George. George was kind of running it. Pete was the farmer on the land, and they'd look after the pheasants, and that was kind of that. That way around like that. Like that. Good. But they just chipped in and bought all their birds and stuff like that. But Ned Farris was another thing entirely. He had a much, much bigger shoot over at Frettendon. And he paid £15 for the day. But the day was longer. It was like kind of about 8:30 till 3:30 at the one in Sissinghurst. But Ned Farris would have you out there till about 4 or 5 o'clock. But you'd get there at 8:30. Then at lunchtime, he had a big like barn thing with food and drink and a bar in it and stuff like that. So at lunchtime, we'd all get fed, which was good. And then afterwards, bearing in mind we was probably 14, 15 by that point, afterwards, we were allowed to have a beer before we went home. And that was lovely. Really good. Really like that one. We got £15. 15 of your earth pounds. And it was only about a 3 or 4 mile walk from home. But we used to do it. Kids today. So walk 3 or 4 miles in the morning to get there. Spend all day walking around in the winter, usually piss wet through. Walk miles and miles and miles, after that carrying a load of bloody pheasants. Get your lunch, get a beer, and then walk 3 or 4 miles home with 15 quid in your pocket and think you've had a cracking result. And then there was Chrissy Miller, who was the keeper for the Bedgebury shoot. Now, the Bedgebury shoot was another thing entirely. That was one where the famous and rich people went to. And we got taken around. That was bloody huge, that. we'd get taken around in a trailer, a covered trailer on the back of a tractor because it was so big. But we would be slogging our guts out all bloody day from the crack of Sparrow until it was too dark to see. But we'd get 25 quid for that one. But that was over near the other side of Geldhurst. So that was a hell of a walk. In fact, I think I used to cycle to that one. But 25 quid. I mean, 25 quid back then was 25 quid. I know that a set of Skyway mag wheels for my BMX was £55 because it was just over 2 weeks worth of wages to get one of them. BMX bikes, they were good. What am I looking for? Oh, I've got it. I've already got it. I'm looking for something I've already got in my hand. No wonder I can't find it. Right, you go on to that. Oh, right, I get it. I get it. And that goes on to... How's that working? How's that working? That one. Ouch, there. That one into that one. There. Yeah, BMX bikes. My first bit, well, when we lived in Burnham and moved to Kent, I had a rally grifter. And I loved my rally grifter. I thought it was everything to every man. Absolutely. What more could you possibly need? Then my cousin, Matthew, had a Piranha BMX. Now, this thing was made, fabricated, hewn, if you will, from girders and churches. It was by far the heaviest thing I've ever known. But it was a BMX, and it didn't have mudguards. That's the main thing I remember about it. It didn't have mudguards. And that was because it was a motocrosser and mud would get stuck in it. So you didn't need mudguards on a BMX. And there was nothing I wanted more than a BMX for considerable time after that. I did eventually get one. I got a Mongoose, which was I think it's a Mongoose wire wheel is what it's called now. Which was good BMX. Rode that everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Look at that. I've got the rear wing. Rear wing is in place. In case you're wondering about the Lego build, that's all going swimmingly, thank you. Went to Romford skate park once. That was good. And I went to, is it Buckhurst Farm? Buckhurst Farm up near Sevenoaks Way, somewhere around there. The racetrack. My dad took me up there so I could try that. That was very exciting. Number 4. He goes in there. That can't be right. But BMX bikes were, you know, the thing to have. If you didn't have a BMX, you were nothing. You were nobody. It took forever, because we lived in a very rural area. It took forever to get anywhere on one, because it only had one gear. Or no gears, if you prefer. So you just pedalled and pedalled and pedalled and pedalled and didn't get very far very fast. That one there. That one there. Could do with a cup of tea. I need an intercom down here, so I can call Karen and say, bring me tea. That wouldn't go down very well, I know that. But still be fun. One there. Ouch. Ouch. I'm making a front wing at the moment. One of those. One of those. They are opposites. Good. And one of those, but not that one, because it wants a bobble on the top. There it is. Found him. So my bobble on the top goes on that part there. That one. There. That one. There. 70. We're nearly there, you know. You're doing very well. seriously, if any of you ever watch this, just let me know. If you got bored of it, you know, like I told you right at the start, this is going to be tedious. So please don't tell me off for that. It's your own fault. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. What else is there to do? I don't know. Is X Factor still on? Is X Factor still a thing? Does anybody know? It has been a considerable time since I've watched TV that wasn't racing of some sort, motor racing of some sort. Right, I've got that bit. Done what it has asked me to do, but what does it want me to do with it? I've already done it, haven't I? No. I want to put it there. And I want another one of them there. See what I mean about missing stages out? You think, oh, I've already done that, but I did one very similar there, and now I'm putting one there. Red bit, this is the nose cone. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I am actually excited about that, sorry. It's a thing. It happens. That's a side pod. That's the one I want for there. Like that. Whoosh. Number 12. Oh, no, I need 2 rounded doofers. Stepped rounded doofer. 1. Put my wheels to one side. There. Now that's safe. Let's see what you would have won. Rounded doofer, where are you? No. Put you to one side because you're very different from the rest. One of these things is different from the others. Are there really 2 of those? Yes, found them. 2 number 24 stickers. 2 number 24s with the black bit towards the pointy bit. That's a technical term. The good news is at least I won't have issues getting this one past the YouTube police. Because they don't like anything shooting. Nobody does nowadays. You have to prove that, you know, you're being responsible. And mind you, I'm not sure what they're going to think about the Joey Deacon stuff. Hopefully they'll be of an age where they go, yeah, that happened. That happened. Nothing we can do about it now. Move along. There and there. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That is good, yeah. Next, one of those and one of those. Are they opposites? They certainly are. That and that. Caught it. Look at that. Reactions of a rattlesnake. Speaking of reactions of a rattlesnake, I've got an FPV drone. Not the one you've seen me use, because that would be too easy. This one's one I can't use. Christ, this one, it's tiny, it's faster than a fast thing, and you need the reactions of a rattlesnake to use it. If anybody wants one of them, let me know. It's done about 3 minutes in the air. It comes with all the stuff to hook it up to a simulator. I can fly it on the simulator. As soon as I get it outside, it just it's gone. So you kind of fly it, wearing goggles, crash it, spend half an hour looking for it, fly it, crash it, spend half an hour looking for it, then put it back in its box. That's how it worked for me. I haven't got reactions quite that fast. That's a good looking front wing, I've got to say. I need one of those, one of those, one of those, and one of those. Also, when I lived in Birmingham, talking about political correctness, you know what it's like when you're young and your parents are talking and you're listening. You shouldn't be listening because they're talking about grown-up things. You don't really understand it. Well, we lived in an estate in Burnham on Crouch. As I said, at the time, it was it wasn't a small village, but it was considerably smaller than it is now. And my mum and dad were in the kitchen, and I heard them talking. I heard my dad talking about, because they're building some more houses. Russet Way, I think it was, because Pippin's Road had been built. Russet Way was being built. And he said, oh, one of the houses has been bought by a family of Indians. Of course, I heard this and immediately panicked and ran into the kitchen and said, are they dangerous? The only experience I had of Indians was through my cowboy films. So that was a bit of an eye-opener, that one. Completely different sort. No wigwams involved at all. No bows and arrows. We didn't have to put all our wagons into a circle and defend ourselves on. In fact, Isabel Kingston was... Should I be using names? It doesn't matter, does it? Not like she'll ever find out. But she was the girl. Her dad owned a chain of butchers called Kingston Butchers. And she was in my class at school. Lovely girl. This thing, you go to primary school in an area, then you move away, completely different end of the world or country or whatever. Sometimes you think, what happened to them then? Not that one. Not that one, but I do want that one. And a blank tile. And that one. Right, so that way round this time. That one onto there. So yeah, Isabel Kingston. In fact, Isabel Kingston got a picture onto Tony Hart's gallery. There we are. Now that's if you know, you know. It's the music. Is it the music from The Deer Hunter? Was that what it was? That's quite inappropriate, isn't it? One or the other of them is. But there was the program called Take Heart, which was on BBC about the same time. I think it was on just before Blue Peter. And it was about making art and stuff like that. And there was the gallery. And in the gallery, you could send in your pictures to Tony Hart. And if he liked it, he would he would show it in this section called the gallery, and they'd play the music from, I'm saying The Deer Hunter, it's probably something completely different. The music from The Deer Hunter, as they showed it, and it'd have the name and the age. I think it had Isabel Kingston, aged 8, and it was a picture of a tortoise, if I remember rightly. So weird what you remember, isn't it? I can't remember where I put my glasses half the time, but I can remember what Isabel Kingston drew and sent into the gallery on Take Heart. And so yeah, if you liked it, you'd get your picture shown to the entire world on his TV program. If he didn't like it, it wouldn't go on there. He'd spit in it and throw it in the bin. So obviously there was a lot of very upset, bitter people, and I'm sure you wouldn't be allowed to do that now because it would be too hurty to their feelings. But yeah, if he liked you, you was okay. He liked her. Her stuff got in there. Isabel Kingston. The dad owned a butcher's. I think they sold out to Dewhursts. Got bought up by them. Why would I know that as a 10-year-old? Why would that matter to me? Why would I know? I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I made it up. Bit of a weird thing to make up, though, isn't it? I mean, I'm not saying make up, imagine. But what a load of old toss. Get on there. And also Morph. Morph was, don't know if you remember, you might remember Morph, but not remember Take Heart, because Tony Hart himself died in the early 80s, I think, or some calamitous accident involving a prostitute and inflatable scrotum or something, I remember. Or it could have been a heart attack. It's one or the other. Heart attack. Oh my God! Was it a heart attack? Oh, someone Googled that for me. Did Tony Hart die of a heart attack? A, because his name's Tony Hart, and C, when he died, the program that took over was called Art Attack. I actually want it to be the prostitute and the inflatable scrotum now, because otherwise that's some kind of sick, twisted thing going on there. The programmers at the children's BBC are just sick in the head. Oh, there you go. That's what happens. That's what happens. You mess with Biddy Baxter, she just won't let it lie. But Morph was started on Take Heart, was later on Art Attack. Shocking. And he was an animated plasticine person. Irritating, to say the least. And he had a remedial cousin. I can't remember what his name was, but he was made of kind of grey clay instead of brown clay. If you can remember what his name was, it wasn't Joey Deacon. But if you can remember what his remedial cousin was called, please comment below. Oh! Another mildly terrifying thing from our childhoods. Do you remember Nosy Bonk? That was on Take Heart as well, wasn't it? A terrifying man with this mask with a huge nose that used to go around chasing children and trying to murder them or something. It was horrific. That certainly wouldn't be allowed nowadays. Yeah, that was bad. That is starting to look a bit like a Formula One car now. Bloody ought to. It's been about 3 hours, isn't it? So one of them. Ooh, one of them. Right, let's see. The first thing I do is get that and a number 20. My number 20 goes on thusly. Quite proud of this, actually. I've not needed to ask an adult for help yet. It's an achievement. Small wins. That bit. Oh, I needed 2 of those. Yeah, okay. 2 of those. I wonder what that bit is. Terribly exciting. 2 of those? Is that right? Yeah. That clips onto there. Like that. Oh, I only needed 1 of them. Not 2 of them. Oh, hang on. No, where does that one go? That one goes there. That one goes there. Hewlett Packard. There we are. Barge board. So, must be the other side barge board now. 1 of them. One of them. 1 of them. And 1 of them. So I need the other number 20 HP source, which this time goes on the other way up, because otherwise it'll be upside down on the other side of the car. That one. What'd you do today? Oh, I built Lego and made people watch me. Why? It's a very good question. A very good question. Well, number 1, Lego's awesome, right? That way round, Hewlett Packard. That way round, there. I took my PlayStation 5 to Le Mans with me last year. We set up a generator. We had it in the gazebo. Set up a generator, and I took my I've got the seat and the wheels and the pedals and everything like that as well. The whole kit and caboodle and Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, took all of it with us to Le Mans. It was great. Absolutely great. Because if you like Gran Turismo 7, you'll know. the Le Mans circuit, the Circuit de Sarthe, is on there. And there's just something brilliant about being camped at the Porsche curves whilst driving around the Porsche curves on the game. Not on the game, in the game. I'm not talking about prostitution in any way, shape or form, because that would be wrong. I wonder if Blue Peter ever did something about prostitution. They could well have done, because they did cover some quite strange topics in their time. I remember John Noakes breaking his arm bobsleighing. Was it his arm? Broke his arm bobsleighing. There was no safety things going on with it. It was just like, well, crack on. He fell out, he broke his arm. Another time they said, oh, climb to the top of what's that thing? All the pigeons in London. Not the Eiffel Tower, what's it called? Nelson's Column. Climb to the top of Nelson's Column. It was different times, so probably very little in the way of safety precautions. I wouldn't have done it. I don't like heights. Not even a little bit. I did skydiving in my late 20s because I don't like heights. I turned all intrepid. And because I don't like heights, I did skydiving. I did 15 jumps at Headcorn. Got up to 10-second delays. But when we were doing, because it was not these tandem things that people do now, this is where they teach you how to jump out of the plane, then you jump out of the plane. It was with a square chute. First jump was from 3,500 feet, and you have to fly yourself down. So part of it is you have to learn how to do safety procedures. So say you jump out and your chute doesn't deploy properly, you have to learn how to cut away your chute and deploy your reserve. And for this, they hang you up in a barn, in a harness. So we're there. That's the halo system I've just put in there. Inside the barn, and he's got his Clem. Our instructor was called Clem, and he's going to do cutaway drills. So he said to me, "You go strap yourself in the harness." So he's talking to the thing. Anyway, the harness, you have to go up this little step ladder, 3 steps to stand up to get in the harness, so he can pull it away. So you're dangling from it. So he's talking to everybody in the class while I'm supposed to be getting in this harness, and he turns around and looks at me. And I'm stood at the top of this 3-step ladder, hanging on like that, trying to get into the harness. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I'm scared of heights." He said, "I fucking hope you're joking." I wasn't. But to be fair, the actual jump, it doesn't get scary till you get down to about 500 feet. Then it becomes real, because before that, you're so high up, it's not real, is it? I used to enjoy doing that. Did that for an entire summer at Headcorn. And interestingly and controversially, that's where we saw wild big cats in the UK. Woo. And everybody goes, "Oh, they don't exist." They do exist, because we saw them. It was lynxes. There's near Headcorn Aerodrome, if it's still there, Headcorn Aerodrome, probably. There's a big cat rescue centre. It used to be called the Lion Sanctuary, I believe, at the time. And does that clip in place or just sit there? I think that just sits there like that. Fair dues. And we were doing our jumps, and one of the things you had to watch out for, because when you go through the maps and stuff, you've got to steer yourself down and aim for the big cross on the ground, right? Obviously, don't land here, there's lines. If you land in there, you're going to regret it. Don't land on there, that's a railway line. Don't land in the pylons. That's basically what you're told. All good advice, I must hasten to add. So there was a pair of lynx living at the bottom, in a bank at the bottom of the grass airfield. And we used to sit there on summer days with our sandwiches, because you'd be there all day waiting for a lift, because you did your first weekend course, which was £195, if I remember rightly. £195, and then you got your first jump included. After that, because you'd done your training, you could jump for 25 quid, 15 quid if you packed your own chute. So because it was much cheaper, you just waited until they called you and said, right, we've got a space free, you're next in line, off you go. So we'd sit there most of the summer at the weekends at these picnic tables waiting to be called up, watching this pair of lynx who had a burrow down in this big mound of earth. Yeah, and that's what we did. People say, oh, they don't exist. Well, you imagined it. Well, there was several of us for repeated times throughout an entire summer. I don't think we all imagined it. Got to make 2 of those, haven't I? But the parachuting bit was fun. The skydiving bit was fun. What happened was, I mean, if you're local to the area, you might even remember in the very late 90s, because that's when it was. I went one weekend and a guy's chute, well, it didn't fail to open. He didn't open it in time, and he hit the road, well, he hit the ground and got killed. And then the following week after that, there was a student, first time jumper, who jumped out. His first chute opened fine, but as he jumped out of the plane, he accidentally deployed his emergency chute as well. So that's hanging down below him. His main chute's up there, doing fine, working wonders. His reserve chute is down below him. Now, you are in one-way radio contact with the instructors. When you jump, he's able to talk to you. And Clem was there, and he was shouting at this fella, it's fine, leave it, leave it, leave it. The guy panicked, cut away his main chute, fell through his reserve chute, and died, which was bloody awful. And that was the following week after the other guy died. And I did one more jump after that, and I hated it, and I never went back. So that's how my career in skydiving ended. But it's just one of those things, you know, I enjoyed it until I didn't. But once you don't enjoy it, there's absolutely no point doing it. Let's see, that goes onto there, and that goes onto there. I have thought about doing it again occasionally, usually at silly o'clock in the morning, then thought, nah, it's a silly thing to do. Especially, I'm already broken. I can't even fall off a motorbike without getting hurt nowadays. Now then, where did that bit go? We'll come back to that. Crikey O'Reilly. Right, okay. I'm sat here just whiffling away, not really realising. Actually, this is the final bits. They go, oh, what are we going to do? It's nearly done. That wasn't a mechanic then. That is actually the driver. He's just got a bloody great spanner. Well, there you go. Maybe it will need fixing. Who knows? Not me, that's for sure. I also got a pet spider. I'm scared of spiders. That's why I didn't use black plastic for so long till I got other people to make it for me. Because I would see the black swarf out the corner of my eye and think it was a spider and jump, and that's not a great thing when you're on a lathe. So I got a pet spider, a Goliath bird-eating spider. So the largest spider you can actually get. She was called Jennifer, and she was so big and so strong she could lift the top off of a vivarium. So I'd get home, find that moved, she'd got out, and she'd be usually under a cushion on the settee somewhere. So I'd try and wrestle her back into a cage. I've done it. I've done it. We're completed. We're finished. Look at that. Wowzer, wowzer, wowzer. I've got lots of bits left over. That's normal for Lego. I'm hoping there's nothing actually missing. So there is my Renault, my Ferrari Formula 1 car. And that's great. I really enjoyed making it. I hope, if any of you watch this, I do hope you enjoyed it as well. Does he fit in there? He doesn't, does he? That would be a bit of a thing, wouldn't it? Oh, you put him in there like that, and you can put the halo over the top of him, and that is where the camera ran out of storage. So I had finished. You can put him like that. You can put him like that. You can sit him in there, put his halo back. Absolutely brilliant. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Like, subscribe, hit notifications. I'll be back with some shooting related content tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.